Hi everyone, it's Shar. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my bookshelves. These shelves got very chaotic. I'm talking nothing's in the right order. I organized my shelves by genre. These are my TBR shelves, and I have books that I've already read on here. So in today's video, what I want to do is rearrange my bookshelves. I figured this would be a really fun video, especially because I finally put up my narrow Billy bookshelf. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's fix the mess that is these bookshelves, and I'll show you just how messy they are and how chaotic it is right now because it's driving me up a wall. Okay, first, sorry because I have you in handheld mode, so the audio is going to be what it is. But yeah, this is what I mean when I say like my bookshelves are chaotic. Number one, I've read some of the books up here that I would like to move over to my favorite shelves. This is fine, like right, this is what you see in the background. I definitely have missing books. There's no organization in genre here. It's just all the books I put there after my book haul. So yes, it needs a lot of work. I like my bookshelves to be organized by height and by genre, and it's just not. Like, it's all mixed in, it's all stacked together. I have all of my new historical romances on the bottom shelf, which is not where I want them to exist. These two shelves probably aren't going to change. This one specifically is for my random challenges series. But I also need to do an unhaul. I'm not going to do that in this video because I want to do that separately. But I would like to just like remove some of the books here that I know I'm going to unhaul. Which, to be honest, all of the books that you're seeing right now are on the chopping block. And lots of these shelves are actually double layered. So I'm going to need to look through this, pull off some books that I know that I don't want to keep, and reorganize my shelves. I don't know which video you're seeing first, but I just removed all of the books that I am unhauling and sorted them between books that I could resell or books that I was going to donate to charity. Those are the updated shelves on this side. These are all of the books that like I annotated or damaged in some way, so I can't sell those. Back to the book organization, moving my favorites from this top shelf onto my favorites shelf in the living room. So let's get to it. Okay. This isn't the perfect angle by any means, especially because you can see the microphone right there in the corner, but this is the widest angle I could get so you could actually see all of the shelves as I'm reorganizing. So you can see my dressers right here, and then I crammed the narrow Billy bookshelf here in this corner. So I'm going to start with removing the books that I've already read and putting them in a little pile so I can move them to the shelf in the living room, which I've decided I won't show you because it's only a few books that I'm moving around, and that's really boring to watch. So, the books that I have already read, The Jessad Heir, first and foremost. I love this book so much, so it should be sitting on my favorites shelf, not on my TBR shelf, even though I like having all of my special editions together. This one's going where it belongs. And then finally, this little mushroom one is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which also appeared on my best books of 2023 list. So of course, ooh, you could see the shine there. So of course it's going to go on my favorite shelf. I have to figure out how to reorganize that shelf, but again, I'm only moving a few books around there. All of that, I think those are the only ones that I needed to move. I've DNF'd Babel like 4 different times and I'm 70% of the way through. So for me to DNF it that far, it's just not gonna work for me. And this is The Space Story. I always forget what it's called. Some Desperate Glory. I hated this. I DNF'd it too. But it's gonna sit there anyway until I decide that I'm ready to sell it. Fantasy is like fine where it is. I think I would like a middle, like a YA middle grade shelf. That reminds me that A Dowry of Blood is also one of my favorite books. Yes, I do have 2 editions. This is the Fairy Loot edition. So it can go in that little pile of other books to bring with me to the living room. Where do I start? 2024 is my year of being a romance girly. I decided I'm going to move all of my thrillers and stuff a little bit lower down, also because they tend to be in this darker color palette, which for aesthetic reasons, I prefer the brighter romantic pastels to be here. Unimportant, but that's what I'm doing. For like mental reference, this bookshelf actually exists as books that I'm going to unhaul or books I think I'm going to unhaul. So yes, with my multiple bookshelves, they all serve a different purpose. I have my like self-help bookshelf. I have my 5-star, 4-star favorites. I have my TBR shelf, which is this one. And then I have my I've read this, but I didn't love this shelf to make it easier for me when it's time for me to let books go. Thinking about this, I could probably make this a combination of like the continuation of fantasy and then into romance, which I think is what I'm going to do for this. And I'm going to move this Vicious Grace up because I think it's getting a little bit sun bleached and this shelf gets less light than this one. If you're wondering, this is the second, like, I'm forgetting what it's called. Second little crochet thing that I made, which is this teddy bear who has massive feet and a very round body, but I'm still very proud of him, okay? He's my second ever, like, crochet stuffed animal project. Hopefully I improve over time. But what I was saying is this is my romance shelf, or it was, and I think I'm just going to move these hardcover romances to the actual new romance shelf and make this my shrine to Taylor Swift, by which I mean I'm going to put the 1989 album up there. So that's this shelf and this shelf and this shelf reorganized. Do I think it visually looks any better? No, but mentally it's much better because it's actually organized and it makes me feel better. But with this section, what I'm going to do is move some things around. So I have all of the thrillers and horrors that I removed from this shelf that I'm going to move to the shelf below this one. So I'll move it down in a moment. But while I'm up here, let's figure out what I want to do and what I want to swap around. I'm thinking I actually want this to become my middle grade shelf, which hopefully should fit because middle grade is smaller than like the big old hardcovers, especially because I made this shelf bigger so that Taylor Swift could fit up there. So this is now a very narrow shelf. We'll figure it out. See, that totally fits in there. Perfect fit. I'm going to sit in this bright ass patch of sunlight that I can't even see to tell you that I literally cannot see. There's like a division here that you can see in my bookshelf, and that's because I built this by myself and then I dropped it. You know, it bent, but it's fine. She still functions. And the final little pile of books. I mean, you can't see this pile of books here, but these are the bottom shelves of my bookshelf. So the rest of this is going to be horrors. And then I have my bottom shelf over here, which I can't get low enough to show you, is just going to be like books I'm thinking of unhauling, and that will be these two bottom shelves here. Is there any particular rhyme or reason to me doing this? No, I just want a stack of blue books. And why not make this mildly color coordinated? What if I did like blacks to reds to blues? If you're curious, what I'm doing here is just putting all the books that I think I'm going to get rid of on this shelf. These are books I'm not quite ready to get rid of. That audio's going to be really bad because the microphone's behind me. But these are books that I'm not quite ready to get rid of. They're more books that I feel like iffy about. Like I'm not sure I'm going to like them. So I want to at least give them a go before I unhaul them. So they're bottom priority books. All right, here are the finished shelves. This shelf didn't change much. I just added this book, which eventually I'll probably get rid of too because I didn't really like it. I didn't finish it, but I didn't like that much of what I was reading. And then this continues on to be my other fantasies, and this is my romance and other fantasy shelf. So fantasy and like sci-fi speculative stuff spills out to here, and then we start the romance section with the historical romances divide, and then all of my other romances that I haven't read yet. Bride and Kingmaker I'll be reading very soon. Moving down, we have the thriller section, which I did not touch. So these are like thrillers, horrors, mysteries. This is my TBR basket, my second one. The one in the living room is my library books, and these are my owned next on the TBR list. YA, horrors, things like that, and other horrors and thrillers and generally scary books. That bottom shelf is literally nothing but a basket full of my stuff. And then we come over to the shelf. I won't show you top shelf because it's just Taylor Swift and photos of my nieces and nephew, and I don't show pictures of them. This is my middle grade shelf now, and then I have like my not top priority TBR, but like books I still am interested in. If you're curious, this one is Wilder Girls. These two I've read, but you'll see a video about them very soon. I've moved all my wrapped books to this shelf, and then the bottom two shelves here are books that I'll probably get rid of at some point or another. As the sun sets, thank you for coming with me as I reorganize my bookshelf. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna go now before the sun starts shining right in my eyeballs. Bye, besties!